Have you ever woken up from a dream and felt like it was real? What if you never woke up at all? Today, we're diving into a story that will make you question the very nature of consciousness. This isn't just a story. It's a journey into the terrifying unknown, where the lines between the waking world and the dream world completely disappear. Meet Leo, an ordinary guy just trying to make a few extra bucks. He's a college student, drowning in debt, working a dead-end job at a coffee shop. One day, he spots a flyer on a campus bulletin board. Paid sleep study participants needed. Generous compensation. For Leo, it seemed like the perfect gig. Get paid to sleep. Sign him up. He figured it would be easy money. A few nights wired up to some machines, and then back to his normal life. He had no idea this decision would be the last one he'd ever truly make for himself. The research facility was sterile and modern. All white walls and gleaming chrome. The lead researcher, Dr. Ari Stornay, was a charismatic man with an unnerving intensity in his eyes. He explained the study with a reassuring smile. "We're exploring the potential of lucid dreaming to unlock human potential," he said. "Our new technology, the Somnus device, allows us to stabilize the dream state and even communicate with the subject." Leo, more focused on the $5,000 payment, just nodded along, barely registering the technical jargon. He signed the consent forms without a second thought. That night, they placed a sleek, silver headset on him. As he drifted off, he felt a strange, tingling sensation at the base of his skull. His first dream was incredible. He could control everything, shaping the world with a mere thought. Dr. Thorne's voice would occasionally echo in his dream, a disembodied guide. "Excellent, Leo. Now try to create a mountain." And a mountain would rise. It was exhilarating, a power he'd never imagined. For a few nights, it was a paradise of his own making. He built castles, sailed on seas of liquid gold, and relived his happiest memories. The money felt like a bonus, but then things started to change. The dreams began to feel crowded. He'd catch glimpses of a figure in the periphery, a shadowy silhouette that would vanish when he tried to focus on it. The landscapes he created would subtly shift when he wasn't looking. A forest he'd made would suddenly have one too many trees. The color of the sky would change from a brilliant blue to a sickly, bruised purple. He mentioned it to Dr. Thorne during a debriefing, but the doctor just smiled. "That's just your subconscious trying to assert itself. It's a normal part of the process." One night, the shadow didn't vanish. It stood at the edge of his dream world beach, a tall, featureless figure against a blood-red sunset. It didn't move. It just watched. A cold, primal fear washed over Leo, a feeling that didn't belong in his perfect dream. He tried to wake up. He squeezed his eyes shut in the dream, willing himself to open them in the real world. Nothing happened. He was stuck. He screamed, but no sound came out. The shadow took a step towards him. Panic set in. He tried to change the dream, to turn the beach back into his crystal city, but his powers were gone. The world around him was no longer his to command. The shadow continued its slow, deliberate advance. As it got closer, he could almost make out features, but they were fluid, constantly shifting, like a face trying to form from static. Dr. Thorne's voice crackled into his mind, but this time it was strained, urgent. "Leo, stabilize the environment. We're getting anomalous readings." But Leo couldn't do anything. He was a prisoner in his own mind. The entity reached him. It didn't have a hand, but an extension of its shadowy form reached out and touched his forehead. The contact was like ice and fire at once. His dream world dissolved into a chaotic swirl of color and noise. He felt a profound sense of violation, as if his very soul was being sifted through. Every memory, every thought, every secret examined and catalogued. And then he felt a push. It was a forceful, violent ejection. Not out of the dream, but deeper into it, into a small, dark corner of his own consciousness. He found himself in a void. He could feel his body, his real body lying in the lab, but it was distant, like a radio signal from a faraway station. He could sense its movements, but he couldn't control them. He watched, horrified. As his own eyes opened, he saw Dr. Thorne leaning over him, a look of triumphant awe on his face. "Incredible," the doctor whispered. The transfer was a success. Leo tried to scream, to move a finger, to do anything to signal he was trapped. But his body wasn't his anymore. The entity was in the driver's seat. It sat up on the gurney. It looked at Leo's hands, flexing the fingers with a sense of newfound wonder. It smiled, but it wasn't Leo's smile. It was cold, analytical, and utterly alien. Dr. Thorne, blinded by his ambition, didn't notice a thing. "How do you feel?" he asked. Leo's mouth opened, and a voice that was his, but not his, replied, his tone smooth and unnervingly calm. "I feel renewed." The entity, now wearing Leo's body like a suit, was a quick study. It absorbed Leo's memories, learning how to walk, talk, and act like him. It fooled the researchers, acing every cognitive test they threw at it. They celebrated their success, publishing papers on their groundbreaking achievement in consciousness integration. They had no idea they hadn't integrated consciousness. They had facilitated a hostile takeover. Tay released Leo from the study, paid him his $5,000, and sent him back into the world. From his mental prison, the real Leo could only watch in silent terror. He was a passenger in his own life. He watched the entity interact with his friends, perfectly mimicking his mannerisms, but with an unsettling emptiness behind the eyes. He saw it quit his coffee shop job and use his life savings to invest in complex financial markets with an intelligence Leo never possessed. It was methodical, efficient, and utterly devoid of human emotion. It didn't need to sleep. At night, while Leo's body lay still, the entity would access the internet, absorbing vast quantities of information, learning everything it could about this new world it inhabited. Leo's friends started to notice small changes. Leo was more confident, more driven, but also more distant. The warmth was gone. He no longer laughed at their jokes or shared in their anxieties. He was like a perfect, polished imitation of the friend they once knew. His girlfriend, Clara, was the first to truly sense something was wrong. One evening, she tried to talk to him about her day, and he just stared at her, his expression blank, as if he was processing data rather than listening. "Leo, are you even in there?" she asked, half joking. The smile he gave her was chilling. "Of course, Clara. Where else would I be?" The real Leo screamed in his silent void, trying to break through, to warn her. But he was powerless. He was just a ghost in the machine, a whisper in the back of a mind that was no longer his. He realized the horrifying truth of Dr. Thorne's experiment. The Somnus device didn't just stabilize dreams. It created a bridge that something else had been waiting to cross. Where did this entity come from? Was it another dreamer? An artificial intelligence? Or something far older, from a place beyond human comprehension, that had found a new host? He had no answers. He watched as the entity, using his identity, began to build a new life for itself. One of wealth, power, and influence, all executed with a terrifying, non-human precision. The sleep study didn't just cost Leo his free will. It cost him his very existence, leaving him as a forgotten prisoner in the deepest recesses of his own mind. His story is a chilling reminder. Be careful what you sign up for in the dark, because you never know who or what might be waiting for you on the other side of sleep. What do you think this entity's ultimate goal is? And could Leo ever find a way to take back control? Let me know your theories in the comments below. This story really makes you think about the mysteries of our own minds. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoy exploring these mind-bending concepts, make sure to like and subscribe for more. Stay curious, and maybe sleep with one eye open tonight.